Welcome to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we dive deep and answer the ultimate question: how did you hack into tech sales? Each week, we bring you inspiring stories, proven strategies, and insider tips from top performers who've cracked the code to break into tech sales and thrive. Whether you're just starting out, making a career pivot, or ready to level up, this is your go-to space for actionable advice and real-world success stories. Let's crack the code together, because hacking into tech sales isn't just a dream, it's your next move. Now with your host, the founder of Tech Sales Funnels and the tech sales hacker himself, Dayvisson DaSilva.
Welcome everyone to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast. This is Dayvisson, the tech sales hacker, your host. I'm super excited today. I'm bringing actually a somewhat a different flavor to our podcast, but at the end of the day, you're gonna see that everything that I talk about is how to make the tech seller life better and give you new perspectives, and then even people who are considering tech sales so they know a little bit more about how to get into tech sales and the different roles and that kind of stuff. So today is super cool because I'm kind of divided on this interview here. I'm going to be interviewing a new friend from Microsoft, Macmillian. I'm not going to try his last name. I'm going to let him just do it.
That's fair.
Hi, Mac. Let's welcome, by the way, to the Tech Sales Fund podcast. Let's have you first. I know you're from Nigeria, so can you tell her how to pronounce your last name, please, and then give a quick introduction at a high level, who you are.
Absolutely, man. Well, first of all, I just want to say, Davis, and thanks for the opportunity to be here, be a part of this community. I've been following your journey for a while, and just super impressed by what you've been doing. So my last name is a mouthful. Not surprising. It's Agbonavare. So the cool thing about it is actually the B towards the end of it is silent. So it looks intimidating, but it's actually really not. So
Okay.
it's Mac Agbonavare. So
Agbonavbare,
there you
okay.
go. Yeah. And then let me kind of introduce myself a little bit more. So I'm originally from Nigeria, like you mentioned. Davison moved to the US about 10, 11 years ago. Came here for school. Went to school at Brigham Young University, Idaho, with a background in business management and entrepreneurship. Shortly after that, I went into the corporate world, did a year of consulting for a company called Workday, mostly doing large enterprise implementations for our healthcare customers. Did that for about a year and then transitioned into Microsoft as a business program manager, where right now I focus more in our customer experience and support team, customer experience and success team,
Mm,
basically providing and building intelligent experiences for our customer success roles across Microsoft.
wow,
Happy
you're a
to be
busy
here.
man. You're a busy man. This is the era of new implementations, new technologies, AI. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. So that's exciting.
Indeed, indeed.
And congratulations, by the way. So we're both international students. Well, we both came to America, living the American dream here, and in this podcast, we both have our families. Uh, Let me see if I have here. I am also a BYU Idaho alumni, everyone.
Woohoo!
I'm very open.
Nice.
Let's, representing here BYU Idaho today. Super exciting. And Mac, I got to know Mac from another BYU Idaho alumni, a friend of mine, Marcelo. We're partners in different projects, and we cross collaborate with each other. Mike also owns he's a co-founder of a nonprofit, AfriSource. We're going to talk about AfriSource in the podcast. And let's see how we're going to start here. Mac, how? Man, I can go in so many angles, but I just wanted to since the audience here mostly tech sellers and all that. Can you first how did you hack into the your first role at Workday? Like, how was that process in getting that role? Because a functional consultant is a seller. At the end of the day, they
Mhm.
provide solutions and ideas to the client. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about how you get to that? And then from there, how did you get into Microsoft?
Absolutely, man. No, I'm happy to share my journey there. So I've always enjoyed interacting with customers, right? I actually, on paper, it shows that I started officially working, my career in 2020, but I actually have been working since I was 11, right? And, just been doing a couple of different things. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I've, done a couple of different businesses of my own. And the consistent thing that I notice across all of those different, projects and things that I've done is that I actually enjoy helping customers. I enjoy helping people. And so in college, I, was looking at roles towards the, I think this was in my senior year. And so I stumbled upon Workday, right, and was really fascinated by their ERP solutions for helping businesses around the world. And so there was a career fair that was happening at BYU in Provo, Utah. I went up there and met with some of the, representatives from Workday and expressed my interest in, a role there. And, we had an interview and the rest is history. Really enjoyed that role, enjoyed working with customers, helping them, basically tailoring Workday's proprietary software to their business needs. And that was something that actually brought a lot of fulfillment to me. And so, Microsoft has always been, kind of I've always admired the company for, multiple reasons. I'm a big fan of their, the Microsoft suite. There's, lots of different products that they have, and I use a lot of the product. And so, always been fascinated by the company. And so, while at Workday, an opportunity, came in through a recruiter friend of mine, and I looked at the role. It made sense to me. It's also, that element of helping people, right, and designing solutions that would, enhance the experience of individuals working in the customer success roles. And so, I interviewed for it as well, and fortunately got the job offer and made that transition to Microsoft, and I've been there ever since. 4 years this
Nice.
September. So.
4 years. Wow. So you have been through this entire AI kind of revolution at
I,
Microsoft.
I I have, yeah, and it's actually the AI transformation is moving at a pretty rapid pace, right? It's interesting when we initially had the digital transformation, right, where we had companies moving from on-prem to the cloud, right, and cloud, Azure, all of that stuff, AWS, that was the big thing. And the goal was to get as many companies off of on-prem as possible. Now we're looking at a completely different shift, right? Which is on top of moving to the cloud, we also want people's businesses to be powered by AI, right? And businesses that do that quickly and are agile in doing that are the ones that are actually going to thrive in this competitive landscape. And so, it's been very cool to see Microsoft, you know, get their foot in that area of establishing their AI presence in the market, right? And having worked with Copilot, and in fact, one of my projects that I'm currently working on is around how do we, within Microsoft, within our teams, how do we leverage Copilot to help improve productivity, right? Alleviating the administrative burden and only focusing on things that are uniquely human. So the things that can be automated, the things that are manual, how do we push all of those to AI with human supervision, obviously, so that we can be able to do more, right? And so it's been pretty cool to see that transformation and that shift, and to be a part of that and being in the front lines.
Yeah, you are definitely. If there is a front line of technology, you are like on the tip. Like when the roller coaster comes down,
Uh-huh.
and then you go on the very first
And then before you, yep.
level. You're
Yes,
right
I
there.
I am
Should be
fortunate
excited.
enough to be right there. Yes, it's pretty cool and fascinating technology, I must say. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Wow. So yeah, so you jumped from a Workday to Microsoft. You know, and you mentioned a recruiter was your friend. Was that like okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I can talk a little bit more about that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I usually tell, some of my mentees, is while you're in college, getting a 4.0 GPA and all of that stuff, good grades, those are important. However, just as important, and some might argue even more important, is building a good network, right? And connecting with people. And right now we are fortunate to have tools like LinkedIn that make that process a little bit easier. I usually say LinkedIn is a new resume, right? So
Yes.
ensuring that people are, I tell them, I say, make sure that you're visible in LinkedIn. It's not just enough to have a LinkedIn account. It's important to be visible, right? Make regular posts, engage in people's posts, right? Connect with people in organizations that you resonate with, right? And so that's essentially what I did. In the middle of my college education, I started becoming active on LinkedIn and connecting with people in companies that I like. One example of that is Microsoft, right? And so I connected with this recruiter and wasn't asking for a job. I just wanted to connect and hear about our experience at Microsoft. And so, I was fortunate enough to actually get some time with her and she shared some, her experience so far at Microsoft and all of that stuff. And so when a role finally opened up, and this was like 2 years later, by the way,
Oh
which
wow.
happened to be right as soon as I graduated, which is good. She thought about me because I had kept that connection
Nice.
open, and so that's how I eventually landed here.
Nice. Genius. Yeah. So if you're
I don't
listening
know
to
about
this,
that, but
yeah,
thank you.
early stage. No, man, you said it. Microsoft, I mean, LinkedIn visibility. That's I preach all day, every day. But also building those relationships and not asking for jobs, none of that. Just naturally making
Yeah,
connections. You never
not yeah,
know. You never know when your next opportunity is gonna come from, right? So,
absolutely,
um,
absolutely, and
it's
I think so. One of my favorite books is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
yes, yes.
Um, I'm blanking on the author's name, but it's one of the things he talked about was just being genuinely interested in people, right? Just being curious, right? So you see someone you really admire, you see a certain role you're not sure about. It doesn't hurt to send a message and inquire or ask for some time to meet or just to learn more about them, right? So, you know, no strings attached, just reaching out saying, hey, I would love to connect. I'd love to learn more about you, what interests you, what are things that you like, right? Those things, really help in ensuring that you're building your network, building your connection, and it's never too early to start, right? So, I have a buddy of mine who's just starting college this fall. We already built up his LinkedIn account. I'm like, hey, already
Nice.
start reaching out to alumni of your university, right? And things like that. So, those are some good strategies I would highly recommend.
Nice. So for all the early stage careers here, if you missed the last 5 minutes, that's gold mine. Start early. Just like if you want to, there's this thing that says if you want a shade, right? If you want a shade from the tree, you have to build,
Hmm.
you know, 5 years, 10 years earlier, right? So now's the
Exactly.
time.
Yeah,
Don't wait until you're senior or you're ready to graduate. So it just sometimes it's just too late. I love that.
absolutely.
And now let's dive a little bit deeper into the your BPM business project manager role.
Hmm.
Like so, a lot of times, everyone listening, I try to say that because I want to make very clear. A lot of times, people think tech sales is just like sending messages on LinkedIn or picking up the phone, emails, or trying to close deals. It's way beyond that. Especially in organizations like Microsoft, where there's so many people involved. That, like sometimes it takes an army to deliver a solution. And Mac happens to be on the other side of the sales, right? The post sale, which I also count as sales. So can you tell a little bit more? What do you do exactly? Like how do you support the sales organization as a whole at Microsoft?
Yeah, very good question, man, and thanks for the opportunity to speak on this. So, the business program manager role is, in and of itself, just hearing that title, it seems a little bit ambiguous, but it's essentially a role that is built around strategy and design. And what we do is how do we build experiences and optimize business processes to help our sales and customer success organizations succeed, right?
Okay.
And so, a lot of the things that I do for my work is, looking at, it centers around three things: people, process, and tools, right? Those are the three kind of the three high level areas that I focus around. People essentially entails, the sellers as well as the customer success unit teams, right? And then the tools are what are the tools that they use to be able to help our customers, right? And then the processes are all of the processes that support our sales strategy here at Microsoft, right? And so, all of those different components working together seamlessly, consistently is super critical for executing efficiently in sales strategy, right? And that's where I come in. So I work a lot with, our customer success account managers. These guys are the guys that are kind of going, post sales to help our customers realize value from the investment in Microsoft. And also they do some selling as well, right?
Oh yeah.
So how do we identify needs and then match Microsoft products or solutions to be able to cater to those needs for the customers. So again, it's all one sales organization, right? And so my role is to come in and look at the processes, look at the strategy, look at the tooling, and say what's happening out there in the market, what are our competitors doing, and how might we be able to, increase our competitive advantage, leveraging whether it's advanced technology, for example, AI is the big one, right? So we're building a lot of solutions around AI to help, our customers get the best experience ever.
I love that, and that's what makes you know a true strong sales organization, right? After the sale, which is you should not be thinking about transacting a
Yeah.
sale, but providing support and making sure that everyone is using the technology properly, and that's exactly what Mac does.
And something else I always say is, in this day and age, experience is the new playing field, right?
Hmm.
You think about some of your best, household products or household, consumer goods or consumer companies, if you will. So, for example, a typical example I always bring up is Chick-fil-A, right? I can count the number of people since I came to the US that have told me that they do not like Chick-fil-A. Not even more than five, right? There's a lot of people out there who love Chick-fil-A. It's an established brand. And when I ask people, what do you like about Chick-fil-A? A lot of the times it's about the experience that they get, right? How quickly they are, right? Or how nice the Chick-fil-A, workers are, right? They have a thing where if you say thank you, they respond with my pleasure. Right? I think that's pretty, popularly known around the US. And, so it's all about the experience. And that applies to sales as well, right? How do you ensure that your customers or potential customers feel like you actually care about their needs and feel like you understand what they want and how your solution might be able to help them, right? And so it's all about the experience, and everything we do today in my role is thinking about from a tooling standpoint, from a process standpoint, how do we optimize the experience so that at the end of the day, our customers are not only with us because they love our product, but also because the experience is just unmatched.
Yeah, and then with that experience, is going to increase retention, which is going to increase the next volume of sales, right, within the organization. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I that's a really good model. I mean, Microsoft does a really good job at having all those people, different people, helping. Is that a profile like, let's say someone wants to be a BPM, right? Oh yeah, it sounds interesting. Like I'm a project manager or I'm an architect or whatever. Is that a specific profile that Microsoft is looking
Mhm.
for those specific roles? Like,
Yeah, actually, so the business program manager is a specific profile. However, it caters to different industries or organizations within Microsoft. So I personally belong to what we call our MCAPS organization. So it's the Microsoft um, Customer and Partner Solutions organization. So all about, and it is a sales organization. I'm sure you
yeah,
know about MCAPS, Davidson, right? And so it's all about the customers that are leveraging Microsoft products. And we also have support that's part of that as well, right? So, they buy the products. How do we provide support using, leveraging unified support solutions, right? And so, the business program manager is embedded within that organization. But there's also other organizations that also have business program managers as well that are
Oh,
managing several different programs.
okay. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So again, a BPM is directly reporting to a sales leader as part of a sales organization and supporting post-sales activities. We're working very close with the customer success managers, and no, I honestly I didn't know much about this role, so I'm glad that you I was able to talk a little bit more about it,
Yeah.
um, and see if whoever's listening to this can get a different perspective. Now we all know, man, it's the elephant in the room, the two letters. It's the A. It starts with A.
Yes,
Oh
we
man,
know.
everyone. I bet all your clients are like, how can we better leverage this? And within Microsoft, which you're probably doing a lot of that as well, and out externally with clients. Let me how let me think about a good question here for you. So, in your role, first, do you have to have like any extra like training or certifications when it comes to AI? It was just more like a free flow, like, hey, I have a growth mindset. I'm just gonna go find my own training and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, very good question. So the company has actually they do a pretty good job at helping employees upskill, right, as technology advancements continue. So with the recent proliferation of AI, Microsoft actually sent out trainings, right? There's been a ton of resources and trainings that are just available, right, for people to take. There's co-pilot certifications. I'm actually a co-pilot champ myself. I, took a
Nice.
bunch of certifications. So yeah, there are lots of resources available to help us not only learn about the tool, but also actually get our hands dirty and start building with it. So, an example of that is Copilot Studio. I've built some AI agents leveraging Copilot Studio. There's, just a lot of different ways that one can leverage AI, right? It comes in different forms and shapes, and um, that we're also pushing for adoption, right? One thing is to understand AI, another thing is to be able to get adoption out of it, right? And so, they've gamified some of that within the company to where, you win a certain award if you do, use Copilot, for X amount of times and all of that stuff. So they're really doing a really good job at helping push AI usage
Mm-hmm.
and for employees to be able to get the value out of it.
Okay. Okay, that's good. It's good to know that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because if you don't provide the proper support and training, right, or resources,
Yeah.
people just get
It's just gonna
lost,
be
right?
noise. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and okay, and now, so let's say I still want to I want to dive into the AI thing, but let's say um, what do you think is the for your role, for your specific role, like the future of your role in AI? Do you see like any changes happening to your role? Do you see in like, hey, those things that I do now, AI is probably going to be doing, so I'm trying to to develop myself in a different way.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, and the answer is yes. AI is gonna, and I actually think that is true for a lot of other roles as well. AI is definitely changing things. AI is impacting the way we work, right? AI is changing KPIs and influencing, specific outcomes that are required. For my role specifically, um, the changes we're seeing is not necessarily AI doing the work, but it's necessarily about how we do the work, leveraging the power of AI, right? So, how do we become more productive in the way we work? How do we outsource as much as possible to AI so that we can focus only on the things that are uniquely human? How do we optimize business processes with an AI first mindset, right? So that's a lot of the changes that we're seeing right now in my role as a BPM. A clear example of that, for example, is we work a lot with engineering teams to build solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's kind of a project manager meets, products manager type of thing. And so I'm writing, BRDs, I'm writing user stories. How can we leverage AI to help with that? right? Even if it's just a first draft. And so it's really about how do I use it to help me in my role, as opposed to AI taking over the role, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. All right, man. That was. Thanks so much for all the information. I want to leverage the rest of the time. You have so much to give here. But I want to dive a little bit into your nonprofit. You know how.
Yeah.
Um, Tell us a little bit more about AfriSource and what's AfriSource is all about in the last few minutes here,
Yeah.
and how can people get involved? And
I appreciate it, man, and thanks for the opportunity for that. So, AfriSource is a 501c3 organization that is focused on bridging the gap between talent and opportunity. AfriSource basically stemmed from a place of understanding that talent is not unique to a certain location or a certain continent. Talent is is distributed across the world. However, opportunity is not, right?
mm,
We have more opportunities in the US, more of the Western states. However, in places like Africa or some other emerging communities, not a lot of opportunities are there, but there are lots of smart people. And so that is the problem we are trying to solve. We're trying to expose talent, raw talent, and unique perspective to small businesses that are looking to scale fast, in the US and Canada. And so that's been our focus. So what we've done so far, we've helped a lot of entrepreneurs, especially busy entrepreneurs, that trying to, start something. Yeah, like you, exactly. You're a living testimony of the beauty of AfriSauce, right? There's just a lot to do, but you don't have all the time in the world, right? And so how do we take away some of those mundane, monotonous, things from you and bring in someone who's a strategist to help provide, some perspective and also help do those things for you so that you can focus on the things that you actually enjoy doing. And so that's what we've been doing at AfriSol. So we have clients that we support across the US, and the feedback has just been amazing. And it's a really good solution because it's a fraction of the cost of what you would pay to
mm,
hire someone locally without sacrificing quality, right? Because we really find the best of the best. And so that's what we've been doing with AfriSauce. And I do it with a good friend of mine, Marcelo, who is also a shared connection with you, Davidson. And so we enjoy what we do.
yeah. By the way, big shout out to Humphrey Source, founder CEO right here. I'm one of the clients. I started using Humphrey Source about 3 months ago. They have an amazing onboarding service. The Everything's super easy. I didn't have to do anything. I just have to be like. Actually, I had to do something. I talked to three of my VAs, three potential VAs, and I was able to choose one, which is she's doing an amazing job. And shout out to Hannah. She's out of Abuja, Nigeria, doing a great job at with tech sales funnels. So I'm super excited for this partnership, and I want to continue to
Likewise.
work with our resource.
Thank you,
And I
Davidson.
really
Appreciate
wanted
the
to
shout
bring
out.
that up because a lot of people listening to this, sometimes they're like, hey, how can I scale even my own job, like even my corporate job,
Yeah.
or my projects, or I want to have a side hustle. I don't know what to do. I want to have podcasts. Hey, you gotta find help. You cannot do everything by yourself, and there
Yeah.
is help out there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the shout out, Davis, and it's been a pleasure partnering with you and just changing lives because these individuals then all of a sudden they're able to provide for their families and able to do the things that they actually enjoy doing, and all of that is made possible because of people like you. So really appreciate you trusting us and helping us help you with your business. So thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you, Microsoft, which is one of the number one, the biggest organizations in the world, whose big mission is also to make a huge impact in the world. Um,
Absolutely.
and then Afri Sorsi representing his back home
Yeah.
heritage, and then giving access and economic possibilities for more families. Honestly, it's a huge You are
Thank
a
you.
busy man.
So are you, man. So are you.
Oh, we're busy doing good things, right? That's good.
Busy, busy changing the world. I love it.
Yeah,
I
I
love it.
love that. Thanks so much, Mac, for the interview today. I'm looking
Absolutely.
forward to stay connected, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks everything for the opportunity.
Thank you. I'm just going to record something really fast here and
Yeah.
find something new that I learned.
Okay.
Um, Thank you everyone for joining today. This is the Tech Sales Funnels podcast. I'm going to be bringing amazing guests like Mac, and the goal is to continue to build this community and bringing value to help us do our better job and then continue to look for better opportunities. Thank you. That's it, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think automatically after this call you get like an email has like
Oh, really?
it's
Cool.
crazy. This is a good platform. I'm
Is
really
it,
excited to
do
use
you,
it.
do you pay for it?
So I'm on a trial version, but I think it's like $30, thirty
Oh, wow,
forty
that's not
dollars.
bad. Wow.
No, yeah, it's not bad
Yeah.
because I already paid for the other one, but the other one
Hmm.
is not as.
Robust.
No, yeah, this one
Yeah.
has more things. Yeah, I'm excited to learn how to use it though.
How long have you been doing podcasting? You're pretty, you
No,
look like a
man,
you look like a natural, dude, doing this.
no, man. I started like I jeez. I just I talked to this guy last week. I was like, wow, man, you're like another level. Um, Including this platform that I'm trying to. Some I was learning.
Mm,
I
yeah.
did about 30, 32 interviews, I think, at this point.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, and I have like
Awesome, dude.
but I haven't like really advertised much, so I'm gonna start pushing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more like to build authority and all that, but I'm not seeing any leads, nothing coming
Hmm.
from this. But it definitely helps. It helps me, man. Like it's a very selfish project because I get to know people and
Again, right, building that connection, and it also
yeah.
about visibility, right? It takes consistency. You never know who's gonna watch it at some point. So is this, where do you usually, is it on
Oh,
Thanks for tuning in to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we crack the code and uncover the strategies to break into tech sales. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to hack their way into this exciting career. Remember, hacking into tech sales isn't just a goal, it's a mission. Let's keep hacking, learning, and winning together. Catch you next time.